All right, so it's been a couple of days since our last Palantir update, and let's just say, guys, everything we talked about in that last video, at least looking at the charts, is pretty much playing out. And I want to do an update, break down what's been going on, how Palantir is looking, as we're up around 1% right now. And I want to go over with you all what I'm doing, maybe the indexes, some stocks I'm looking at other than Palantir. We'll cover that later in the video. But first, hit that like button, make sure to subscribe, join my free email stock newsletter, and check out my Patreon if you guys are interested for my real-time portfolio updates every week. That is linked down below. And now, cheers, guys. Take a sip of your water, stay hydrated, and let's dive into it. So Palantir right now, like I said, not to toot my own horn, but it's starting to play out exactly like we covered in that last video, whenever it was, a couple days ago. I forget exactly when it was, but it is up now to $141 a share, up 1%, a $1.35 in the green, and we can see the key thing here is we're breaking back over $140 to 100, really 138 to 140. The fact that we're breaking out of there is huge, considering yesterday we closed under 140 and we did the day before. Tuesday and Monday, we closed just under 140 and we were putting in higher lows. So we kind of had a ascending triangle leading to today. You guys kind of see it right here. So we were putting in these higher lows into that 140, 139 resistance, and we finally broke out of it today. I'm saying finally, like Palantir's been, lacking green recently. We've had a lot of green. We've been spoiled, quite frankly, but it's more green. We're getting more of it, which is good. So, that triangle's playing out on the 5-day, 5-minute, and what we covered in the recent video is also playing out, like I said, which we covered this inverse head and shoulders. Do you guys remember this? We saw this setting up in the last video. That's starting to play out now. And the fact that now we're seeing this triangle play out kind of within the inverse head and shoulders leads me to believe, that we're going higher, that we're going to fill this gap to 146, 148, which is kind of where the stock was a couple weeks, not even weeks ago. Well, I guess about a week or two ago. Either way, that's where the stock was back in the end of June, which is where we triple topped and dumped. So we're needless to say, guys, building back some gains, right? Recovering some losses from a couple weeks ago, about a week or two ago, and we're getting back over these moving averages. Golden cross on the 30-minute chart. It looks pretty bullish, man. I'm not going to lie. It looks pretty bullish, even though it's gone up so much, right? It's still looking great on the charts. And on the 1-hour chart, you can see it even better. In fact, you're noticing a golden cross on this time frame as well. And, of course, the inverse head and shoulders and the fact that we're breaking out of both moving averages. And, man, my back's killing me, guys. Oh, let me get a crack in here. Oh my gosh, man. I'm actually bulk filming these videos, so this is actually my third video in a row. Sometimes when I film content, guys, especially for YouTube, not really especially for YouTube, but I try and do a bunch of updates in a row, so I'm not just sitting here making videos all day. I mean, a lot of the time that is the case, at least for the content side of what I do. Sometimes I'm just making videos all day, but a good amount of the time, or sometimes, I literally sit here for 2-3 hours and I just make 10 videos, whether it's on TikTok or YouTube, and then I schedule them out, and it makes my life easier. Either way, this is the update for today, guys. That's how we're looking. What do you think? I mean, it kind of looks like, again, we're breaking out to the mid-high 140s. That's what it's looking like. But we can't be so sure, obviously, in the stock market. Anything can happen, so make sure to do your own research, all that good stuff, and, trade at your own risk. And on the 4-hour chart, you're noticing we're breaking out of both moving averages, popping off the 180 SMA. Clearly, the uptrend's holding. what more could you ask for, right? So earnings, by the way, on a side note, earnings are coming up on the 4th of August. So less than a month away from now is when we're getting earnings, which is coming up pretty soon here. Less than really about three-ish weeks, less than 4 weeks, about 3 weeks we're getting earnings out of them. And I'm curious, man, how these numbers are going to look, and will they support the stock price? That's the million-dollar question. Will these earnings be good enough? Will the guidance be good enough to hold the stock price up? Time will tell. And for me, I'm in at $20 a share average cost. So I have a huge buffer built in. So for me, it's like, even if the stock dumped 20% after earnings, I don't give a crap, because I'm still going to be up a lot. I'm up like 600%, 600%. If it were to go up or if it were to dump 20%, it doesn't make a difference really. I mean, yeah, my position would go down in size, but I'd still be up hundreds of percent. So when you have that built-in gain, you're not really sweating too much before earnings. I'm sure people that are in at $130 a share are, I don't want to say crapping their pants heading into earnings, but they're definitely going to be a little more nervous than somebody at $20 a share, or 30 or 50 or 60, 80, right? But that's where we're at. That's how the stock's looking a couple of weeks before earnings, and I feel like we might heat up a little more before earnings. Again, I think we're going towards the mid-high 140s right now. I could be wrong. Do your own research. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, as always. By the way, hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe here on YouTube. I think 50% of you watch the content, but you're not subscribing. If that's you, hit that subscribe button. Greatly appreciated. And on a side note here, NVIDIA. I didn't make a NVIDIA video today. I didn't have a chance. Well, I guess I could bulk record another NVIDIA video, but I'll mention it here. $4 trillion. The first company to reach a $4 trillion market cap today. And with that, hitting another all-time high at $164. This is nuts. Where was I going with that? 4 trillion. I'm mixing numbers up. 4 trillion freaking dollars, guys. This is insane. I remember like it was yesterday, the first $1 trillion company, which we chat GPT'd it a couple of videos ago. It was Apple back in 2018. Now 7 years later, which 7 years is a lot of time. I mean, it's not like 1 year, but 7 years later, we're hitting the first $4 trillion company. I'm actually curious when the first $2 trillion company hit. Maybe I should chat GPT this one. I'm sure it was Apple as well. But yeah, history is being made. And now it's like, when's the first $10 trillion company going to hit? And I have a question for you guys in the comments while I'm using a chat GPT here. When did the first, I don't know how to word this. When did the first $2 trillion company come about, right? First $2 trillion company happen or come about. That's a really weird way to say it. But let's see. The first company to reach, that would have been better. What was the first company to reach $2 trillion? So the first company to reach $2 trillion was Apple on August 19th, 2020. And it became $1 trillion in 2018. So think about that. The money printing, dude, unreal, which that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother video. Apple hit $1 trillion in 2018 and then $2 trillion about 2 years later. So it doubled up in 2 years. Insane. So yeah, I mean, let's see. What about the first $3 trillion company? First $3 trillion company was Apple as well, 2 years later. So essentially, over the course of 4 years, Apple went from $1 trillion to $3 trillion, and now we have NVIDIA at $4 trillion. And funny enough, guess what? Apple is still at about a $3 trillion market cap 3 years later. So it hit $3 trillion in June 2023, Apple did. So about 2 years later, it's still there. Let's pull up Apple stock quickly. We're kind of going all over the place here, guys, but we're keeping it fun. Apple stock let's zoom in on or expand this chart. Pretty much, yeah, it hasn't gained much in about close to a year-ish. Right? Yeah, something like that. But either way, guys, the question is, when's the first $10 trillion company? I feel like by 2030, we might be seeing a $10 trillion company over the next 5 years. Maybe. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? And I'll leave it there. I'll wrap it up there. Let me know what you guys think about that last question I mentioned in the comments. Hit the like button, subscribe, join the free email stock newsletter, and check out my Patreon. All the links are down below, guys. I appreciate you all for tuning in, as always. And with that being said, I'll catch you in the next video.